Hello, my name is Vanessa Sanchez, and I am the technical advisor for the Cashew-IN platform. And I will be giving you an overview of the prototype Cashew-IN platform as we have it to date. The Cashew-IN platform can be reached by typing the URL as it is displayed in the URL bar in any navigator, though we do recommend the use of Chrome or Firefox. You will be taken to the Cashew-In landing page, which is a general information page that displays information regarding all cashew producing country at the international level. At the very top of the page, you will have a language toggle that allows you to switch from English to French. The second section of the page displays the raw cashew nut and the kernel prices at the international level, with a focus on the West African market and a focus on the Asian market. The alerts menu that you see at the top right-hand corner is actually a placeholder that has not been implemented yet, but it's supposed to be displaying alerts that may have impacts on cashew prices or on cashew transport and logistics. The second section of the landing page is displaying the latest production figures from the countries as well as the source. This is where you can go to a specific country page, and we will come to this section in a few moments. The middle section of the page deals with the Consultative International Cashew Council, which is an international organization for all cashew producing countries. The second to last section of the page shows the global production and seasonal calendar for the cashew-in country, the Northern Hemisphere cashew producing country, and the Southern Hemisphere cashew producing countries. For now, only the cashew-in countries have been implemented and is showing data. As you can see, putting a highlight on the high seasons and the low season, informing user of new farm activities when this is the case, and also of maintenance activities that are supposed to take place prior to the official beginning of the cashew season, and an indication on when the harvest start date is in each of the cashew countries. We are not expecting to have the same level of details for the other cashew producing country, but at least expecting to be able to highlight the high and the low seasons, as we understand they will have an incidence on price. The last section of the landing page are the resources that user can access to get more information, for example, on the Pro Cashew project, on the Cashew-In platform, and get a chance to read the Cashew-In newsletter. This landing page has been developed based on users' collected needs, so that we collected during the assessment, but is still subject to change, as after we sign the MOU with the CICC, they may want to add more information to this landing page in line with their mandate and their responsibility. From the landing page, you can access the country page. For the purpose of this video, we are going to access the Burkina Faso country page for two main reasons. We have signed an official MOU with Burkina Faso, and they officially launched their steering committee at a local level, which give us also the possibility to be able to use and display some of the data that they shared with us. So here is the way that the country page is going to look like. The top menu of the country pages after the homepage has other internal pages, and those internal pages are basically representing the theme that we agreed upon with the end users in the country that should be included in this platform: the production team, the processing team, the trade team, and the interactive analysis. The interactive analysis page is the page that is envisioned to be used so that each actor profile could get to the information that they want to quickly without having to go through all the internal pages for them to get the information that's most useful to them. Please note that the processing, trade, and interactive analysis pages are still under development and they're not ready yet. So for the purpose of this video, we will focus on the production. The first top section of the country page starts with a presentation and a foreword from the country steering committee that also includes a data confidentiality policy. The data confidentiality policy is a document that we put together and that gives some data confidentiality policy tips and tricks that user to basically guide the way that each country will have to define their own data confidentiality policy. At least the data confidentiality policy should be included data use guidelines, where the steering committee of each of the Cashew countries inform the users on how data could be used or reused for different purposes, a contact information to keep in touch, and also that could be reached in case or to report any data related incident or ask additional question, and also share with the audience that is going to be using the data on the Cashew-IN on the review and the validation mechanisms that we use to guarantee data confidentiality and reliability. Those are only tips and tricks, but each of the Cashew-IN country steering committee have been strongly recommended to start working on their own data confidentiality policy that will be the first thing that users see when they log into the country page. The middle section of the country page is a presentation of the cashew sector in each of the implementing countries, including the current project and programs that are currently ongoing to support the cashew sector in a specific country. Who are the key players? What are the official documents that anybody who would like to join or invest in the Cashew-IN sector in a given country, what type of documents do they need? What type of authorization do they need? So it's basically a repository of everything any actor would like to know with regards to the cashew sector in Burkina Faso. The middle section of the country page provides some quick links related to producer associations, quality information, and other certifications. Those quick links have been inputted here just for suggestion purposes. The country can very well decide to show other links as they are more aware of the information that users like to see more frequently than others. The local weather will be provided with the national weather services of all the countries through an API. And then the last section of the country page deals with the service provider, where you have different service providers that are categorized based on the different categories that are here: warehousing, transport, logistics. And when you click on any of those categories, you'll be able to see the contact information of the provider. Let's do a little deep dive on the production, as this is the theme that we have focused on from the beginning. So by clicking on the production page gives you a production and seasonal calendar, similar to the one that we've seen on the resources page, with the difference that this is actually specific to the country that we are currently visiting. For now, the production basically have some GIS interactive maps that shows farm locations, producers association, and the development team is currently working on subnational statistics that is going to be a repository of indicators like the yields or the production volume or the production costs as we collect it from each of the farm associations that are going to be registered into the system. If you click on the view map icon here for the farm location, the system will redirect you to a GIS interactive page that you can be using like any other interactive maps that you use, and you can zoom in and zoom out. In this particular example, you will see that the system actually displays a total of 26 maps that are also disaggregated by gender. This is a requirement that was specified to us during the assessment that we conducted. When you actually click on one of the farm, you will get some general information about the year of creation, the name of the village, the certification types that you can see in those farms, the association name, what type of foreign material are they using, and to what percentage, and what are the other available crops in that particular farm, as well as some indicators, for example, the overall area in the latest year, the average production for the past 5 years, and the average yield for the past 5 years as well. The filters that are above this map can actually be used to refine your search. So for example, for the purpose of this call, I only want to see farms that were created, for example, in 2018. So you see how the interactive map is updated to be able to show this information. And based on the data that we have 12 farms that were created at this particular date, of which 9 are owned by male and 3 are owned by women. You can go further in your analysis and click on, let's say, for example, a gender component, and where you only want the map to display the farms that are owned by women, and you see that every time that you make a selection on any of the filters, then the map is automatically updated. Now you can either cancel all of the filters here or results filters to be taken to the default view. So let's go back to the production and let's now focus on the producer association. So the producer association is a little different in a way that the map is going to show some clusters representing the different cashew producing associations. And also we have a disaggregation again by gender where you have women and men. The reason why we kept the women individually owned farms and the male individual owned farm as well is basically for policy purposes and for decision makers. In some countries, especially in Burkina Faso, the government is really trying their best to bring as much as in the individual farms as possible to actually join an association. So by doing so, it will be easy for the government and the other decision makers to basically see what the policies that they're implementing, do they have an impact, and to monitor the evolution of individual farm who actually rejoin a farmers association and giving them the information that they need maybe to have a better impact if the progress is still estimated to be relatively low. So going back to the production and going back actually to the production page here, so you will have also more resources. And this resources component of each of the country pages is some resources that are managed by the country administrator, who also has the possibility to decide if this information should remain only on the country page or if this information should also be shared to be available at the landing page that we saw at the beginning of this video. As mentioned earlier, the processing page basically is supposed to give, aside from the location of the processing units and their related processing facts and figure, this page is also intended to display around the world best processing techniques to be able to strengthen capacities of West African cashew producing countries. At the same time, you will be able to locate the different processing facility through a map and also have some statistics related to the processing of the cashew products. Finally, the trade page is envisioned to be a one-stop shop for all the trading needs, whether you are more active on the national or international market. So it includes trading news, local cashew market information, how do you know your customer, what are the trends, and also the international cashew market, where it gives you a little bit more information of what's happening on the cashew sector in other producing countries than the cashew countries. Thank you very much for listening in. I'm now going to hand it over to Nadejda so she can cover the technical side of the platform development.
Hello, my name is Nadejda Mândrescu. I am the technical lead of the Cashew-IN project built by Development Gateway and IRX Venture. I will present how Cashew-IN platform is being developed by the technical team. At a general view, Cashew-IN platform is a web application with a public dashboard and a secure admin. Focus for now on desktop browsers, it will also provide a responsive support for tablets and mobile phones. Being a regional dashboard, the server will be hosted by CICC, that is a consultative international cashew council, and will store both dashboard and admin with all countries' data. Each country, however, will have its own country admin with full control over its content and data, while global admin will do a limited system management activities. DG will be meeting with all country steering committees once all of them are set up to define together the permission schemes, access needs, data workflow. But for now, to move forward, we started with an initial set of user roles. An admin, that we also call global admin, will manage the system in general, configure the organizations and users, but it will not be able to change country-specific data. Country admin will have full control of its country content and data. Editors will facilitate with the data entry. Their rights are limited by permission set at organization level. For instance, we can configure editors to be limited to manage farm data only. These rules, however, are subject to change, extend, and be fine-tuned based on needs that will be expressed by the country steering committees. For instance, we are going to review if there is also a need of a validation workflow. We plan to implement also a feature manager to accommodate the platform for specific country needs by turning on or off some modules, features, or fields. For organizing our development process, as it is common at DG, Cashew-IN follows the agile methodology with its iterative cycles at its core. The project has smaller internal development iterations, each called sprint, about 1 to 2 week long, and bigger release iterations that meet project milestones. Cashew-IN team relies on regular agile ceremonies to facilitate the development process, like daily meetings, requirements grooming, and so on. At the end of a sprint iteration, we do an internal demo and a retrospective, while a release iteration usually follows with a demo to different stakeholders and feedback collection. The iterative approach is at core in various areas of the technical development. As an example, for UI design, first activity was to define the logo, and it went through several iterations where we came up with the initial logo mockups, reviewed them internally, updated based on feedback, and then the final options were shared with stakeholders to decide on the logo to be used. The logo color was taken as an input for Cashew-IN's theme color scheme of the following website design. We rely on such iterative approach as well during the technical development of the system that is sprint-based for internal cycles and release-based for broader stakeholders review and feedback collection. Sprint changes are regularly deployed to our staging server, while the release updates are deployed to pre-production server. Cashew-IN technical team follows common best practices and principles of DG. We prioritize open source, license fee-free, community-supported libraries and tools. We follow various best practices regarding code, performance, security, and so on. Quality assurance team regularly assesses the quality of the platform. And I'd like to emphasize that at DG, we extracted for reuse some flexible and customizable code modules to speed up the project launch without starting from scratch. There is a number of such models provided by DG, like Open Contracting Explorer and other, which, by the way, are open source and can be used by the community as well. Feel free to check them out at DG's public GitHub. Please mind, though, that Cashew-IN is not available for the public. The DG templates that we've reused in Cashew-IN are the DG Toolkit, a boilerplate code for the backend and data entry, and WP React Lib, a boilerplate code for rich dashboards with charts, maps, static content, etc., that rely on a powerful WordPress editor. At a high-level technical perspective, the platform consists of 2 separate applications running in Docker containers for replicating the setup easily. Admin is our secured backend and data entry app that took the DG Toolkit template. Admin uses a powerful PostgreSQL database. It is developed with JDK 17, the latest LTS Java version, a powerful Apache Wicked component-based web framework for admin pages, including data entry forms, Spring Boot with its Spring framework to infrastructural support on the persistence layer, security, and other, including the embedded Tomcat server. Dashboard application provides the public side of the platform with static or dynamic content pulled via admin API. We reuse WP React Lib boilerplate code to jumpstart dashboard development. During Cashew-IN platform development, we rely on a variety of other libraries for specific topics, like Leaflet to render the JS maps or Hibernate Enverse to track the data changes, and so on. Dashboard is based on DG WP React Lib infrastructure, which in the end is a React application that pulls data from the admin API. Dashboard is not a WordPress application, but it uses WordPress only as an editor that generates the static HTML code, site navigation, provides content translation support, and other settings. There are custom-built WordPress blocks for dynamic contents like charts, filters, that together with a specific infrastructure allows us to manage them via WordPress. Let's see a quick example of a Cashew-IN page with dynamic content configured in WordPress. When editing a page, there is an option to pick custom WordPress blocks that are defined for Cashew-IN, many of them coming from WP React Lib. For that, select to add a new block, go down and find React Libs blocks. Here, you can add a dynamic custom block like data chart, feature stubs, data filter, and so on. Let's have a look at the current page dynamic map component. Similar to other WordPress pages, the custom blocks allow the country administrator to configure their specific properties. For this map component, we can decide the map type, like here, and other map settings, as well as configure specific labels to be used, like in the legend. Note that there is a replica page defined in French where French labels are configured. Such custom code blocks are then saved in an HTML format that has a specific structure. Dashboard React application is able to convert this HTML snippet into an actual dynamic graphic built with React, another JS library. That's it. Hope this presentation helps you get an understanding about Cashew-IN technical development.
Thank you very much for viewing the video. And please, if you have any question, contact our Cashew-IN regional coordinator.